JD Vance is running for Senate in Ohio, and he joins us now. So do they talk about identity politics in Ohio, or are people mostly concerned with the price of groceries?
No, Jesse, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's crime, it's the terrible crisis at the southern border, and it's the price of everything. You know, Tim Ryan, my Democrat opponent, has actually swamped the airwaves pretending that he never supported the radical defund the police movement, even though he did. He actually wanted to end cash bail 2 years ago. He said that he wanted to strip police of the qualified immunity, the legal protections that allow the police to do their jobs. And I'd say, Jesse, if people want to help us fight back against Tim Ryan's falsehoods, jdvance.com, go and throw us a few dollars, because that's how we get the message out to the people of Ohio. The crazy thing, Jesse, is that the media covers for all of these Democrat lies. They know the crime issue is a problem for the Democrats, so they distract and they try to pretend the Democrats weren't as radical as they obviously are. That's why we have the crime problem we do.
Yeah, we also have Google, so we know what they said and when they said it. The interesting thing that the Democrats are confronting now is that crime, inflation, they overpower identity politics. Blacks, whites, Hispanics don't want crime. They don't want expensive gas. And the Democrats, for the first time, are off message because the race card and the gender card, they're not working.
That's exactly right, Jesse. I was talking to a couple of Columbus police officers recently, and they said, you know, black, white, rich, poor, everybody likes the police. They want more police, and they want police to be empowered to do their job. The problem is you have a very small select group of very liberal people who have tried to persuade the rest of the country and have enacted policies that are very anti-police. I mean, just in our race, we're getting swamped by so much money from people pretending that the Democrats are actually conservative on the issue of crime. And I'll repeat that website, jdvance.com, for those who want to help us fight back against it. Because the truth, Jesse, it's really on our side. It's really clear. You let violent criminals out of prison. You prevent the cops from doing their job. You're going to get a spike in violent crime. We all knew it. Normal people knew it. Unfortunately, the Democrats didn't follow common sense. Now we have the crime problems we do. And you're exactly right. They're running from it as fast as they can. Luckily, we have wise people in Ohio, and I don't think it's going to work.
Well, thank God Joe Biden has solved the crime crisis with his new crime czar, Dylan, who is transitioning into a female and took up a lot of time from the president at the White House. All last week, when he could have been meeting with police chiefs, he was meeting with Dylan about how to transition young kids.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff, Jesse. And if you think about this, they're not talking about inflation. They're not talking about their spending policies, their energy policies. They're not talking about anything that's actually on the minds of voters all across the country. They're trying to distract and obsess with these ridiculous identity politics issues. I don't know who this person is. I don't know what they ever did to deserve a meeting with the White House. But if the White House is running ads on letting pharmaceutical companies experiment on small children instead of fighting the inflation crisis, I think that tells you everything we need to know about this election.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan's invited on primetime anytime, but maybe after the election, because there's, like I said, more important issues to deal with. And we just found out your opponent wants to make Puerto Rico and D.C. a state. Nothing against D.C. and Puerto Rico. They're not ready to get their own stars. The flag is full. And I think everybody needs to know that.
That's exactly right, Jesse. And that's...
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
All right.